Now the student next topic is the absorption and the action spectrum of photosynthetic pigment. Now we all know a photosynthetic pigment cannot absorb all the sunlight falling on a green plant because reasons we have already learned, like photooxidation is possible, then burning because of the too much of the heat and all. So there are many other reasons, plus it cannot absorb each and every packet or quantum of energy or packets of energy. So that's why these pigments only absorb a particular portion of the light that is called as the VIBGYOR. We all know about in the junior classes we have done, and that wavelength is from the range of 390 nanometer wavelength to 760 nanometer wavelength. So this is the wavelengths the pigments are able to absorb, and the remaining light is reflected back into the atmosphere. So this visible part of the light is called as the PAR. PAR stands for photosynthetically active radiation, the visible part of the sunlight which the plants are able to absorb with the help of pigments and utilize in organic food formation. That particular radiations are called as photosynthetically active radiations. Now chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B pigments, they absorb the light. The light absorbed by them is from 450 for the blue 450 for the blue green region, and it will be 700 nanometer for the red region. Remember, the maximum wavelength is with the red color and minimum with the blue VIBGYOR. So you can call it as the violet blue shade. So this is the shade, and this is the shade in which the chlorophyll A and B do the maximum absorption. Now carotenoids absorb maximum in the 500 nanometer range, and that is again between the blue and the green region. And then phycocyanin, the blue one in color, has the maximum absorption of the wavelength at 600 nanometer. This is just for information I thought I should convey to you. Now the next thing is absorption spectrum. Now this looks like a graph. You must be wondering what graph is doing in the subject. It is not maths. So it's a simple graph only. There are two axes in this graph. One axis, the x-axis, has the wavelengths in the increasing order. VIBGYOR, minimum wavelength, R will have the maximum one. Then on the y-axis we have the light absorption percentage. So when you put a graph, or when you plot a graph, and that graph shows the amount of light absorbed at various wavelength by a particular pigment, that absorption, that graph would be called as the absorption spectrum. I'm repeating again from the notes here. The graph which shows the amount of absorption of different wavelengths of light by a particular pigment. So every pigment will have its own absorption spectrum. Now I have drawn the absorption spectrum for chlorophyll, and then for carotenoid, and then we have even for the phycobilins. So chlorophylls perform maximum absorption in the blue-green region. It's better to say violet and blue. And then the second peak comes in the red region. Carotenoids again perform in the blue-green region, and phycobilins perform maximum somewhere in the 600. So orange is the place for it. So again repeating, what is absorption spectrum? It's a graph which shows us that how much percentage of the light or different wavelength is absorbed by a particular pigment. So whether it is the V or I or B or G or Y or O or R. So which wavelengths are absorbed maximum, which absorbed less. So that plotting of the graph will give us an absorption spectrum. Now let's understand this spectrum from the NCERT itself. In the NCERT page number 210, this absorption spectrum is there. Similar diagram. They are the wavelengths present here, and this is the absorption of the light by the chlorophyll pigment in percentage. So you can see one is blue color, the other blue color is for the chlorophyll A, the green color is for chlorophyll B, and the yellow color for the carotenoid. So you can plot graph for any type of pigment, because pigments have the ability to absorb the light, various wavelengths of the light. Now the next type of graph is the action spectrum. I'll take a minute again. Now the next graph is the action spectrum. Now how do you define action spectrum? So it's again a graph with two axes will be there. The below axis will have the wavelengths, increasing wavelengths from V to R, and then the y-axis will have the relative effectiveness, or you can say the percentage of photosynthesis. Or see, you cannot count or you cannot measure the degree of photosynthesis, but you can do it indirectly by counting or measuring the amount of oxygen liberated. So the graph will always be between the wavelength and the amount of oxygen liberated. So when you put a graph that shows the degree of different wavelengths affect the rate of photosynthesis, that graph is called as the action spectrum. Here action stands for photosynthesis. So how can you put this definition into very normal language? It's a graph which shows that at various wavelength what is the degree of, or what is the rate of photosynthesis by green plants. So this darker line is the graph which is called as the action spectrum, and when you plot the absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A, you will find that they are quite matching, or they are quite similar to each other. Now similar thing has been explained in NCERT also. This is the action spectrum. Now when you put an action spectrum and try to compare parallelly with the absorption spectrum, you will find whenever the absorption spectrum of chlorophyll A increases, at the same time you will find there is increase in the photosynthesis or action spectrum. And when it comes down, this also is down, and when it goes up, the absorption by chlorophyll A, then the action also goes up. This shows that the main pigment is chlorophyll A. That's why whenever absorption by chlorophyll A increases, rate of photosynthesis increases, and when the absorption decreases, rate also decreases. But you can see one more point here. There is very less absorption in this range, but still a good amount of photosynthesis. Reason is accessory pigments.